This is no ordinary computer desk. Geared towards inspiring creativity, it's retrofitted with innovative features such as dual levitating cup holders, sound-reactive plasma discs, and a touch-responsive, plasma-filled window. Coupled with its sturdy construction and height adjustability, the future of innovation just got a lot more tangible. Look, when the modern Tron movie came out a couple of years ago, it was a visual masterpiece. I mean, it still is, and it was the inspiration behind me building a plasma-filled river table. And with the sequel for the movie coming up in a few weeks, I figured, you know, my plasma table could use a sequel of its own. So over the past month, I've combined carpentry, resin work, plasma physics, and maglev tech into one functional package. This video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. After a long night in my garage doing normal person things, I woke up to an interesting email. A furniture company called FlexiSpot, who specializes in adjustable computer tables of all sizes, stumbled across my plasma table video from a few years back. Apparently they liked it, but also challenged me to make an upgraded one using one of their tables. You know, I'd been meaning to expand upon the original idea of the plasma table by making it just more interactive and much more immersive, you know? So I accepted the challenge. They sent me one of their tables and sponsored this video. Not long after, they had the table delivered in 3 parts to my door. Right, so it looks like there's 2 boxes, 1 box for each pair of legs, and then obviously this is the top of the table. Massive, and it's super heavy too. So I'm just gonna get straight to work putting it together. It shouldn't take too long. Whew, that was a pretty fast build, and I'm a big fan of the birch top. This looks awesome, and it's an incredibly sturdy table. Whew, it's like unnecessarily sturdy. And even though they're a moving part, the adjustable 3-stage legs are equally solid. The height adjustability is super user-friendly, with programmable heights that go as high as you could possibly need. It's basically a skyjack. It's adjustable to over 51 inches in height, which makes it the tallest 4-legged standing desk you can buy. It can also hold 540 pounds or lift 440, so more than 2 of me. Most 2-legged standing desks top out around 200-pound capacity and aren't even that stable. Plus, a little treat of convenience, a USB port to charge your phone. Good to know I've got a standing desk on literal steroids. If at the end of this video you're interested in a table like this, it's the E7 Plus, comes with a 15-year warranty and a 30-day risk-free return service. FlexiSpot is actually having a massive sale right now, so great time to consider a new 4-leg standing desk like the E7 Plus. If you have a limited budget, you can also choose their E7 Premium desk, and using my code YTE7P50 grabs you $50 off. If you're military, a student or doctor or something like that, they offer discounts for that as well. Right, so let's talk modifying this thing to make it a proper plasma table. So I want to expand upon the last table and use 4 or 5 neon tubes as an interactive display. It'll be tricky, but I'll implant them into the table on the left side, then fill the spot with resin. The plasma inside will be both touch and sound responsive. On the other side of the table, something that can really turn some mental gears, a levitating platform for your phone or for a cup or something like that. Maybe surround the levitating area with one of those high voltage plasma plates, essentially a flat plasma globe, and then make them sound responsive too. Yeah, the sound and touch sensitive plasma filled tubing is the hardest part of this, so I'm gonna start with that. After a quick drive to a local neon artist in Charlotte, I had her brew up 3 different gases in 6 20-inch tubes. That great purple, that argon.
That's right, so that's it. But for signage,
bringing them home and then hitting that old bean water cup, it was go time. So here's what I'm thinking. I've got the 5 tubes. I'm going to space them out by probably about 2 inches each. And the original idea was to inset them into the table. That's what I was thinking. Inset it, fill it with resin. No, I'm actually going to go ahead and cut out an entire window here in the table. Whether that's with like a jigsaw or a router, I'm not quite sure yet. But I'll go ahead and cut out that window, put in the 5 tubes spaced out about 2 inches each, and then just fill it with clear resin. Construction is messy, and I'm at least 10%, I don't know, maybe 8% normal, so I moved the table into the garage for the chaos. I built my last table inside of a one-bedroom apartment. Yeah, no thanks. Table was all prepped for resin, but I don't know, like, it's kind of hard to be prepped yourself for resin knowing you'll be covered in it for the next couple of weeks, because resin's like syrup and napalm. It's like napalm syrup. It's like, okay, you're making pancakes, right? And you put syrup on your pancakes, and then magically, 3 weeks later, you find syrup on a light switch. I added white glass beads into the first pour for coloration, and somehow it ended up with a consistency of cookie dough. Cookie dough. This was the third and final pour, burying the neon just shallow enough to make it interactive, but deep enough to protect it eternally. Eternally, like the resin all over my body. This was the moment of truth. Did the tubes survive the plunge? Same shirt, different day. Gave the resin about 24 hours to cure, and wow, it came out perfectly, which is a complete rarity for when I work with resin. Something always goes wrong, but not this time. Absolutely polished. Whew. So I've got 5 wires here, all looping around to the underside, attaching to a corresponding tube. This should be neon, argon mixture, neon, argon mixture, neon. So red and blue alternating. Let's give it a try. Red, blue, red, blue, red. God, that's amazing. I love that blue color. Look at that. Whew. Perfect. Let's move on to the levitators. After a quick search online, levitators are pretty common, but I needed something very specific. Okay, this will be perfect for the table. Very steampunk looking with its alignment, electromagnets in the middle, circuitry fully visible on the back, and check this out. Extremely easy to levitate the top. I mean, usually levitators are a total pain, and I was expecting a battle. No battle with this one. Now, one problem is the top isn't very wide, so it's not particularly useful, but I think I have a solution for that. A bit of coffee and some 3D modeling, boom, a gear-shaped platform. I chose this design because it's a visually interesting shape to play with. Shooting this over to my Prusa, I got straight to work printing out a pair of gear platforms in not just one color, but 3. The colors can be switched out at will, making it a lot more customizable. Ultimately, the metal top was pressure fitted into the gear and the cover pushed into place. And if I measured this right, it should be perfectly balanced. Which it is. And it's supposed to support about 1 pound. Oh, no problem. We are cooking. Now, I originally planned to have the levitators underneath the table or maybe implanted into the thickness of the table, but I really liked the idea of having them like on a platform, on a throne, lifted up, right? So I ended up mounting them on top. For safety and appearance, I printed a mounting bracket which fits seamlessly right over the levitator. Not really my original plan, but I love it. So, with it all put together, first levitator's perfect. Woo! Oh yeah, yep, still cooking. I actually love the colorations I got here, the green and bronze. Oh yeah, I'll be levitating a lot of coffee. Right, on to the final installation, a little known thing called a plasma disc. They come in all shapes and sizes, but there was one shape in particular that caught my attention. This is what I'm going with. You give it power, beautiful, right? It's like a flat plasma globe. It's touch responsive, just like a plasma globe. And more importantly than touch responsive, it is also sound responsive. Wow, that's really cool. But that's what I need for the table. A quick SketchUp for proper placement, which I later changed, and off we go. That was an ordeal, but it's finally done. A preliminary test to see how the table's metal frame affects the plasma, and all clear. Okay, between every component, the table is sitting at like 10 power cables at this point. That's not good. But luckily, they all run off 12 volts. So for the right side, everything can be powered by a 12 volt 8 amp supply that I mount under the table. However, the neon tubing itself is a bit more tricky. It requires several thousand volts and the ability to respond to sound. Well, that means one thing. This is your typical plasma globe. It's touch responsive, just like any plasma globe ever, but it's also sound responsive, just like the plasma plates. And that's a good thing, because in the base, there's a super compact high voltage supply that runs off 12 volts, just like everything else, and produces a few thousand volts, which will be perfect for the neon tubes. Ow, that hurts. 5 tubes means 5 power sources, which will make sense shortly. Mounting each to the underside of the table and connecting their high voltage out to a corresponding neon tube gives 5 independent circuits. Each tube can experience permanent on or sound activated on, and since they run off 12 volts as well, I attach them to a variable 12 volt supply. The adjustable voltage is critical. For interactive plasma, it needs to be dimmed just right. Too much power and the neon tubes just stay permanently on. However, you can now see we only have 3 cables to deal with as opposed to 10. Big win! You got one for the left side, one for the right side, and one for the middle that powers the actual table itself. And luckily, they all need 120 volts. How convenient. So, under the back side of the table, I placed a power junction that combines all 3 into one power cable out. And to further increase functionality of the table, gave the levitating platforms a simple switch. After nearly a month of designing, building, and shocking myself every day, the table was finally ready. Here we go. Oh yeah, oh that's bright. Wicked. This is just incredible. And when power's turned down to just the right threshold, the plasma falls under complete control of your hand. This works way better than I planned. The sound mode is next level. As for the plasma discs, they are just as responsive to noise and vibration, and when they're turned on permanently, the eerie blue glow of their plasma is second to none. This is super interactive. And let's not forget the dual levitating platforms, which are basically fidget spinners doing their best work and adding a 3-dimensional element to this table. Look, I had some real concerns with this table. There's a total of 7 high voltage, high frequency circuits, all like less than an inch from the metal frame of the table, and then less than an inch from the same metal frame of the table is the drive and support circuitry for the table itself. I expected some messy back EMF to maybe mess up the touch buttons for the height adjustability. No, no problem at all. I'm kind of surprised. Ultimately, I can see this table bringing fresh motivation and inspiration to all my future builds, when I listen to music, when I work, or simply when I play. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below, so you know what to do. Thank you to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video, to all my Patreons, and to you for watching. I'm gonna go play with the table now. You stay classy.